While you've been celebrating India's seemingly low 4.38% official inflation rate, your bank account is actually bleeding from a silent 16% lifestyle tax you don't even know you're paying. The truth is, the official numbers are a dangerous macroeconomic illusion, and if you don't change how you save in the next 60 seconds, your disciplined monthly SIPs are simply funding a future you won't be able to afford. You see, when the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, or MOSPI, announces that CPI inflation is sitting at 4.38%, they are measuring a broad nationwide average. It includes rural food baskets, subsidized fuel, and goods that an urban professional living in Bangalore, Mumbai, or Gurgaon might never buy. But for you, the urban Indian paying rent, ordering from food delivery apps, hiring local services, buying premium skincare, and trying to build a career, your real inflation rate is 6.17% or higher. That's not a guess, that's the cold, hard mathematical reality when we look at how actual urban households spend money. In this video, we are exposing the 5 silent budget killers that are quietly eating your wealth alive in urban India. And we are going to share 5 tiny automated habits that will let you fight back, secure your portfolio, and beat lifestyle creep before it's too late. To understand why your wallet feels empty even when you get an appraisal or a salary hike, we have to look at what financial experts call the personal inflation rate. Think of it this way: headline inflation represents the average consumer, but in reality, no two households are identical. A retired individual living in a tier 3 town with no rent or education expenses experiences a completely different rate of price increases compared to a young couple working in IT in Hyderabad. Protima Dhawan, a wealth director at Anand Rathi Wealth, explains a brilliant framework for this. She says we need to stop looking at the news and start treating our monthly budget like a mini CPI basket. If you list down where every single rupee goes: housing, transport, personal care, eating out, and school fees, and assign each category a weight based on its share of your total monthly spending, you get your true cost of living index. For an urban middle class household spending 1 lakh rupees a month, if we apply the actual category wise price increases from the latest data, the math is shocking. You spend on personal care, groceries, transport, and dining. When we run the numbers across all categories, your real weighted personal inflation is 6.17%. That means your 1 lakh rupees basket of goods doesn't cost 1 lakh 4,380 rupees next year, like the headline inflation rate suggests. It costs 1 lakh 6,170 rupees. Over 10 years, that extra gap doesn't just add up, it compounds. It quietly erodes your purchasing power, turning what you thought was a healthy savings rate into a silent loss. Now, let's unmask the 5 specific villains in your monthly budget driving this gap. The 5 silent budget killers. Killer number 1: personal care and miscellaneous services, 16.72% inflation. According to official MOSPI data, this sector has exploded with a staggering 16.72% year on year inflation rate. Let that sink in. If you spend 500 rupees on your basic monthly grooming, personal care, or skincare products last year, you now have to shell out 584 rupees for the exact same products today. It is a massive double digit jump. Why is this a silent killer? Because we buy these things in small repeating increments. A 300 rupee face wash here, a 400 rupee hair product there, a premium moisturizer, a grooming appointment. We don't think of them as luxury purchases, but because urban households allocate up to 20% of their monthly budgets to personal care and miscellaneous lifestyle goods, this category acts like a silent siphon every single month, draining thousands of rupees of surplus cash from your account every single month. Killer number 2: Restaurants and dine-outs, 6.91% inflation. Our second budget killer is our collective love for convenience and socializing. Restaurants and accommodation services, which are inflating at 6.91%. In urban India, eating out or ordering in has transitioned from a weekend luxury to a daily operational habit. Whether it's a quick lunch ordered to your office desk, a coffee run with colleagues, or a Friday night dinner to decompress, we are paying a premium for convenience. And it's not just the food, it's the packaging charges, the platform convenience fees, the delivery tips, and the service taxes. When dining out inflates at nearly 7%, your casual weekend plans are quietly costing you double what they did a few years ago. If you aren't actively tracking this, Zomato fatigue and weekend getaways will swallow your investment surplus before it ever hits your bank account. Killer number 3, food and beverages. 5.05% inflation. Next up is a category that no household can escape, food and beverages, sitting at 5.05% inflation. Now you might think 5% doesn't sound like a crisis, but food and groceries represent a massive baseline chunk of your household expenses, often 20% or more of your total income. When your core daily fuel increases, it eats into the margins of everything else. And inside this category, the volatility is wild. Due to erratic monsoon patterns and rising transportation costs, specific kitchen essentials have experienced eye-watering spikes. We're talking about a massive 50.4% surge in the price of ginger and a 31.92% increase in tomatoes. When your daily sabzi, cooking oils, and staple grains undergo double-digit seasonal spikes, your grocery bills expand dramatically. You don't buy fewer groceries, you simply absorb the cost, leaving less room for your financial goals. Killer number 4, transport and commuting, 4.31% inflation. Killer number 4 is the cost of movement, transport, which is up 4.31%. For urban professionals, commuting is non-negotiable. Whether you are driving your car to the office, booking ride-sharing cabs, or using public transport, the energy shocks from global geopolitical tensions have directly trickled down to Indian consumers. With transport costs rising steadily, the money you spend just to show up at work is increasing. It is a rigid, non-negotiable expense. You can't tell your boss you won't commute because petrol prices rose, meaning this 4.31% inflation acts as a direct mandatory tax on your gross take-home pay. Killer number 5, education services, 3.34% inflation. Our fifth silent budget killer is one of the highest priorities for Indian families, education services, up 3.34%. While 3.34% seems like the lowest percentage on our list, it is incredibly deceptive. Why? Because the absolute base cost of urban private school education, coaching classes, tuition, and skill development programs is already massive. A 3.34% increase on a 1,50,000 rupees annual school fee or coaching package is a major chunk of cash. For parents, this is an expense where they refuse to compromise, meaning any increase is immediately absorbed by sacrificing discretionary wants or worse, reducing savings. Now that we've unmasked the 5 budget killers, let's look at how they form a dangerous psychological trap for investors. Imagine you are disciplined. You save 15,000 rupees every month in a mutual fund SIP. Your dashboard says your portfolio is up by 12%. You feel like a winner. You think, hey, FD rates are at 6%, but my mutual funds are giving me 12%. I'm beating the system. But here is the 2026 inflation truth that no one is telling you. The dashboard is lying. Nominal returns are an illusion because they ignore the devaluation of your purchasing power. If your personal lifestyle inflation is running at 6.17% and you factoring in long-term asset class taxes, your real inflation-adjusted post-tax return is significantly lower. In a high-cost urban environment, Celebrating nominal returns without measuring real purchasing power is like celebrating a salary hike when the price of rent just doubled. You are running on a treadmill, staying in the exact same place while believing you are moving forward. To make matters worse, many young Indian investors make a classic mistake. They take their entire surplus and dump it into 100% equity portfolios, specifically chasing highly volatile small cap or thematic funds because they saw a viral screenshot of 40% returns. But as seasoned market experts point out, this is a double edged sword. Sectoral and thematic funds operate on business cycles. When a sector like defense or digital IT is highly popular, valuations are stretched. If you buy in at the peak out of FOMO, you risk sitting on flat or even negative returns for years when the cycle rotates. If your portfolio is not properly diversified across debt, hybrid assets, and commodities, one market correction can wipe out years of disciplined savings, right when you need to access those funds for a real life milestone like a home deposit, wedding, or medical emergency. So, how do we break out of this trap? How do we protect our wealth from the five silent killers and build a bulletproof financial system? We use the power of tiny habits and frictionless automation. And that's just the beginning. In the next video, we'll uncover the tiny habits that can quietly transform your financial future.